Hi! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's video. I have a very special guest helping me choose the books I'm going to be reading for the week. So on my channel, I do a lot of having other people or just other things choose the books that I read. Get over here. You can bring this over here. One, because I'm indecisive, and two, I just think it's really fun having other people or other things choose the books that I read. I have a pretty big TBR this month. I have a whole video on that for my monthly wrap up and TBR if you want to check that out, but I'm just gonna choose, I think I have 6 books I'm gonna have Mochi choose from. So this is my dog Mochi. She's my best friend in the entire world. If you've been here before, you know she's my best friend. So I thought, why not have her choose the books for me? Momo, you want a cookie? So I have the 3 cookies. She's very food motivated, so literally she will do anything if you have food in your hand. I'm gonna break them in half. I have 3 in my hand and put them on to 6 books. And whichever one she goes to first is gonna be the books I'm reading, right? So here are the 6 books that I'm gonna be letting her choose from with these cookies, and then I'm gonna put them on the floor and she will choose for me. Okay, so the first book I have is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It's been on my TBR for literally so long. It's basically a fantasy romance kind of book about like the origin story of the Queen of Hearts. Then I have the Final Offer, which is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. This is about Callahan. I think it's Second Chance. It's pretty thick, but I really want to get to this. Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. It's the 2nd book after When in Rome by Sarah Adams. It's about that main guy character, Noah's sister Annie, and then Amelia's bodyguard from the first one. So I'm really excited about this one. It's her new release. And then I have Meet Me at the Lake, Carly Fortune's new release. I don't really know what this is about. I just know I really want to read this. Do you hear that? I really want to read this. You see this book? She's giving me a head tilt right now. You see this book? I really want to read this. I did read Every Summer After last year, and the more I think about it, the more iffy I am on it, but I do like her writing, or I did like her writing. So I definitely want to read this and I just really want to read it. And then I have Yours Truly, which is the book right after Part of Your World. I think it's a companion novel. You don't have to read Part of Your World first, but this is about that main girl character in Part of Your World's best friend. It's a doctor romance, I'm pretty sure, and I heard it was just so good. And I loved her writing in Part of Your World, so I'm excited about that one. And then I have Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd and like the last book that's out right now in the Chestnut Spring series. This is about Rhett and Cade, who are the first 2 books, which is Heartless and Flawless, their best friend Jasper. And I'm really excited to hear his story. It's like a childhood friends to lovers, I believe. What I love about these books is they're all interconnected, so I'm gonna get all of the characters that I've already read about in this book. And I'm really intrigued on Jasper's story because we got little hints of him, especially a lot in Heartless, and it was very like mysterious, so I'm excited to see what it is. You see this, Mochi? I really want to read this book. I'm gonna put these 6 on the floor, and the first 3 cookies you eat are the books I'm gonna read this week. Are you ready? Sit. I told you, she is food motivated. Hi! So on the floor we have Final Offer, Practice Meets Perfect, Powerless, Meet Me at the Lake, Yours Truly, and then Heartless. Are you ready? She's not a very good listener. Stay. Sit! Stay. Do you hear me? Momo, look at me. Stay. Okay. Okay, so she's just going back to back. Okay, so we have these 2. Thank you. Uh-oh. Wow. You're gonna choose a fantasy? Thank you. Thank you so much. You can eat those. Here. Alright, let's show them what we got. I honestly didn't think she was gonna get confused, but she couldn't find the cookie at first. But she chose our 3 books. You did so good. Thank you so much. You did such a good job. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Thank you so much for that. Yours Truly, they're literally wet from your slobber. That is gross. And Heartless by Marissa Meyer. We have a little range this time. We have a fantasy, 2 romances, 1 new release. Very excited. And then at the end, I will let Mochi know how she did. If I liked these books, if they were good choices. So that's all from Mochi until later on in the video. Can you say goodbye? I think I want to read a romance first. So one of these 2 maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna go choose which book and then... Oh. I'm gonna go choose which book I'm gonna start with, and then we will get into the reading vlog portion and we'll see how I feel. Say goodbye. Oh, she's so cute. Okay, goodbye. I have an update of first impressions, a little opinions on this book. So I got to page 128. I'm on chapter 17. It's dual point of view, which I'm absolutely loving. And I went into it just knowing it was like a doctor's romance. They both are in the workplace, like workplace romance. But Jacob, the main guy, just moved to the hospital that Brianna works at, and he's like the newbie. And off the bat, like from everyone else's perspective, looking at Dr. Maddox is like, oh, he's quiet. Everyone's dying on his first day. Like very negative connotations with him from like his work and whatever. But then you get his point of view and you don't see from the outside that he has like severe anxiety and like social anxiety, and he hates crowds, and there's like a lot that people don't know looking at him, but like in his head he has like mental things that make him fear like rejection and crowded places and judgment and things like that. So I loved getting his point of view on that because I feel so seen. Like I feel like when we get like anxiety or overthinking in a character, it's never really straight up said that that's what it is. Why is my camera moving around? Do you see that? I feel like it's not really said that that's what's happening and that's what it is. But it feels so refreshing that it's one, the male main character that has these things going on, and it's really talked about and it's really open. And I love him so much because I hate crowded places. I hate judgment. I overthink literally. When it's in his point of view and he's overthinking, and you get like these few paragraphs of like him asking himself all these questions that no one else cares about and no one else would say or think about. But in his head, he's like, oh, they're gonna perceive me like this and things like that. I feel seen. I can definitely say I'm really enjoying this. I love her writing so much. It just flows so well. I will say it took me a little bit to get into it, the first 60 pages, because I don't know, it felt like I was watching like a Grey's Anatomy episode. And then they like kind of met and started passing notes to each other, which was really sweet. And one of the main issues is Brianna's brother needs a kidney transplant really bad. There's a lot of things going on in their personal lives, but I'm really happy to see them helping each other out. So far so good. I'm really enjoying it. I love her writing. I love the story and what's going on. So I'm gonna keep going. We are having a little readathon today in our book club in the Discord. We're trying to do them once a month, and we did one last month. This is our second readathon. We're going for 12 hours, 9 to 9. I don't think I'm gonna do all 9 hours because I have stuff to do later, but I'm gonna be reading pretty much all morning, afternoon. So we'll see how far I get. Why is it doing this? This is so weird. Anyway, I'm gonna be reading pretty much the majority of the day. I will give you guys further updates and opinions, and we'll see how it goes. So I finished Yours Truly yesterday. I didn't have many updates on this book, honestly. I feel like my opinions I could have just saved for the end of it. Like there was nothing really coming up that I felt like I needed to tell you guys. I just had them all saved for this moment to tell you how I felt about this book. I absolutely loved her writing. I feel like the first, like I said, like 60-ish pages were a little iffy to get into because I was reading those and I was like, this is like meh. It's feeling like it's gonna wind up to be 3 stars. Like, I don't know. It wasn't giving. And then right when they started sending letters to each other, I started eating this up. Like I couldn't put it down. I absolutely love her writing. It flows really well. The banter is amazing. The way she tells each person's story in their own point of views and like who they are basically, I love so much. Brianna, loved her. She was so patient with Jacob and just like cared so much, and she just cares so much in general, and I love her so much. Jacob, I love him. He is so pure. He is just like the golden retriever. You just have to be patient with him because he has things that he struggles with, like I've said in I think the other clip, but like mentally. So obviously you can't see that on the outside. It's hard for people to accommodate what he needs if you don't know, because it's all in his head, and he overthinks and he struggles with like rejection and all this stuff. You see in his point of view how much he struggles with it and how much it really takes over his life. And I loved seeing that so much being portrayed in the character because it's so real. The story though, I loved so much because they kind of made a deal with each other, and there's a fake dating trope in here, and I love fake dating so much when it's done right, and it was done so right. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I was gonna give it a little bit higher, but then as the ending was coming, so much was happening and it was getting really like a little dramatic, and a little bit of the miscommunication that was going on was getting dragged out. I know miscommunication is like probably most people's like top worst tropes in a book, but like I don't hate it if it's like a little bit of it and then it gets like figured out and resolved, because miscommunication does happen. But when that's like the main struggle and it's like drawn out for like the whole end of the book. I was just getting so frustrated. I wanted to like throw my book. I was like, guys, just talk. Literally just talk it out. But yeah, I loved the ending. I loved the way that they met was really nice because, as I said, he has social kind of issues. So like he wasn't up to just going up to her and talking to her, and like they got off on the wrong foot and everything like that. So it wasn't starting off very strong for them. The way that they started interacting with each other, like slowly got into it, loved it so much. And they were just perfect for each other. So I loved them. I loved the story. I think that Ivy did such an amazing job writing it. Just the ending for me was just a little bit like, you know, I want to read more of her books like really soon. I think next we're gonna do Meet Me at the Lake. I need to read this. I've been thinking about it since it came out because of Every Summer After. Like I keep thinking back on it and I'm like, I don't know my feelings on her writing, on the story, and it's like I don't know how I feel, and I feel like I just need to read this to get my full formed opinion. So I still don't know what it's about. Let me read the back. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so they meet when they were in their early 20s and they spend a whole day together, and then they make a pact to meet again 1 year later, but then Will doesn't show up, and now it's years in the future. Not the future, like 10 years later-ish. And she's working on her mother's lakeside, whatever. Her ex is the manager, and Will shows up. We love a good second chance. I love the vibe of it, like the lake, second chance, summery vibes. I hope this doesn't let me down. I really want to love this book. Let's start this. I will come back with any opinions, updates, thoughts. Goodbye. Hi guys, update. I've been reading for a few hours now. No, I haven't. I've been reading for like an hour or two. That's a few hours. Anyway, I've been reading and I got to chapter 8, page 80. I will say one fun part about this, for me at least, is that the date that they hung out, like that whole long day that's like ingrained in her memory, happens on June 14th, which is my birthday. So every time it goes to the past timeline, it says June 14th, 10 years ago. And I'm like, very small detail, but it's kind of fun because it's my birthday. But I like the dual timelines. I feel like that's the same way she wrote the other book. And it's interesting because Every Summer After, I feel like it's written kind of the same way because it's second chance. That one's childhood friends to lovers, but like the dual timelines and then her seeing him again like right as the book starts, like I don't know, it's kind of like similar in that way. Obviously it's written by the same author, but the book, like the stories feel a little similar just in that way, just because of the second chance, the way she started it. I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. I feel very indifferent right now. I will say I'm kind of like suspicious about what was going on back then. She has her boyfriend back at the lakes and she's where she was for like school or work or something. He has a girlfriend and I'm just like, something is just so off right now. Present timeline I'm enjoying. I think it's the past I'm not really enjoying that much, because the present one, they meet again at the lakes. I love the scenery and the setting of the lake and the vibes and her working there and him helping her out. I like the older them so far. The younger them, I don't know if I'm vibing with it just yet, but I still am a little indifferent. Like I don't love it, I don't hate it. I need to read more to see how I feel exactly. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read more today. I will let you guys know what happens and how I feel from here. I don't have any strong feelings yet, that's all. I will come back once I get further in. I just want to let you guys know some first opinions that I had from the book. Are you happy that I'm reading this book? Do you like it? Oh, so she likes it. I finished Meet Me at the Lake this morning. I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars, which is so sad because going into this I had such high expectations and I was so hopeful of this book. I don't know if it's because it was like hyped up because of the hype from her first book. I don't know what it was that went into it, but it just fell really flat for me. I think it was hard because the past timeline, the way they met, I didn't really connect with them. I didn't feel their like chemistry that they needed to like be together. And it was especially hard to root for them because she had a boyfriend, a long-term boyfriend, and he had a girlfriend of like a few months, like nothing too serious. serious, but like, I don't know, being in her point of view, I think it was hard to root for them in the beginning at least. I think if we got Will's point of view in the past timeline especially, I think I could have maybe felt more for them or felt their connection, seeing how he felt about it, especially seeing what she was going through and what was in her life and spending this day with him. Obviously at the end everything is explained, but I think it would have helped out a lot more if I just saw how he felt. I don't need to know why he didn't show up or anything in his point of view, but just like their one day they spent together, that's all I needed. So the fact that I couldn't connect with them in the past, when it came back in the present timeline 10 years later, however many years it's been, I wasn't excited, you know? After they started talking and working together in the present timeline when they're older, I eventually was like, okay, I like them together, but like not as a second chance, just as like two people talking and getting to know each other again, I guess, because they only spent one day together and that was it. And there was also a little storyline between her mom, and this is why I felt like it was very similar to Every Summer After, because in Every Summer After she comes back to whatever her beach house or whatever it was because a family member or a parent passed away, and in this one she's back in, what is it called, her inn that her mom worked at, and now she's helping figure out because her mom left it to her because her mom passed away. And I'm like, we're getting like really, I'm getting deja vu basically. So I don't know, you got like things between like her mom and like that storyline, and I wanted more from that, which is very interesting because there's like this whole thing with her mom and letters from her mom or like a diary or something, and what's in that diary, if you've read it, I had this whole storyline made up in my head I thought was gonna happen, but it didn't, and I disappointed myself there. In theory, I thought that the storyline and the premise of the book was really interesting, and I was really wanted more of like that nostalgic summer lake house feeling you get from when you're like, she spent her whole growing up there. I don't know, I felt myself like, if I read this not for a video, I could have like, this could have put me in a slump. I just wasn't excited to continue and see what was going on, what was happening. And I didn't really like Fern. I did like Will, which is very surprising. I feel like he may not be a favorable character from what he's gone through in his life and his character. I really enjoyed him. Fern's ex-boyfriend is a major point because he's worked at the inn for like his whole life and he's still there present day. His name is Jamie. I liked him as a character, but like, why was he the ex? I don't know. I just feel like that was so unnecessary. I mean, I understand why it like blurred lines with them in the past. Like they knew they couldn't do anything because they had significant others and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, if my significant other spent a day like that with someone else, it is burning someone's house down. I do not think that that's okay. Anyway, 3 stars. I would recommend trying it because if you can connect to them in the past timeline, the story is probably so amazing for you and you're like rooting for them, excited for them. It's just personally I didn't, but I would say to try it for yourself and see how you feel. This isn't just like a don't rate this. No, it's 3 stars because for me it was mid, but like I can see how other people would enjoy this. So don't let my rating and my review deter you. Those are just my opinions on how I felt about this, but I'm not like so ecstatic over this book, which is a bummer. I was so excited. Now we are on to Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I've had this on my TBR for so long. I'm so excited to read this and just see what it's about. I was told to like rewatch Alice in Wonderland or like go through like that storyline, and I'm gonna be honest, I think I've watched Alice in Wonderland maybe once in my life, and when I was younger, I've said this in so many videos, I don't retain any information from back then, so I have no idea what it's about. So I don't really know anything about the Queen of Hearts, and I feel like I like to go into things blind. I don't want to know anything, and I don't know if that's a bad thing, if it's gonna hinder my experience, or if I should get some knowledge in my head about this. But you know what? I'm gonna stick with my stick to my guns. I'm gonna just stick to what I know and go in blind because I like to do that with books and I like to be surprised and not know what's happening. I heard that the ending of this is painful, and we know I love pain in books, so I'm excited to see how it is and see what it's all about. I'm gonna start this today. I'm gonna read this obviously, and I will come back with updates. Excited to have a little fantasy romance mixed in with the romances I've been reading recently. Hopefully this one is better than our last one. Okay guys, it's been a bit since I updated on Heartless. I found out that it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I was reading a bit of that last night on my phone, because sometimes reading on my Kindle or phone I go quicker than reading on a book. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. I got to page 100 this whole week because this week Destiny was here, so we were very busy. I didn't really have much time to read, and it's mixed between that. Also, I don't know if I'm in the mood for a book like this. I don't know if I'm like loving it, and there's like a lot of factors are going into that, but I want to read like a good chunk of this book today and then have like a final thought thought about that because there's a lot of why I'm feeling this way about the book, and I feel like it's unfair to the book. So I want to read a good amount today and then see how I feel officially. But basically I said it was like the queen origin story, like retelling, but it's basically about Kath, and her name's Catherine, and she really wants to open this bakery shop, but she can't because her parents wouldn't let her do that. So she's set to marry the king, and the king isn't this like handsome king, like she doesn't like him, but there's this Jest guy, and she's kind of like flirting with him but like also enjoying his presence and like kind of liking on him. But obviously she can't do anything with the Jest, and her mom wants her to marry the king, but she wants to open a bakery. It's like this whole thing, and I can't figure out the plot of it. Like that's the main plot, is that she's set to marry the king, she likes the Jest, but she wants to open a bakery. But like, what are we doing with that? I do love Marissa Meyer's writing. The story, I don't know how I feel. I will say I like the Alice in Wonderland vibes. I really like fantasies that are fairy tale-esque. I feel like they're a lot easier to understand and kind of go into because it's not like learning a lot of new world stuff. It's kind of just like magic fairy tale. It's very easy to get into and understand what's going on. It reads really well and really easily. I just don't know exactly how much I'm enjoying this right now. Like I said, I want to get a lot done today, so I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna go read a bunch, take you guys with me, give you updates and opinions, and see if my thoughts are changing. I just feel like nothing's really happening. Like a lot's being said, but nothing's happening. And I don't like when that happens. I just want something to happen. I want something to change the pace of the book. Let's go read, see how far I can get, and we'll see if my opinions are changing or forming to be more secure opinions, because I don't really have many opinions on this. I just don't know how I feel yet. I'll be back with more thoughts, hopefully, if I have any. Hi guys, I'm back in my chair hours later this morning. I think I filmed my first clip at like 10 a.m. It's now 5 p.m. I have put a dent in the book. Last time I think I was like 80-ish pages in. I'm now 345 pages in. I don't have a lot left. I think I have about 100 pages, maybe a little over 100 pages left. There was one thing that happened in this book that I knew was gonna surround this one character, because I always look on Spotify for playlists of books before I read them. I need to be like in that kind of zone when I'm reading the book, so I looked up Heartless, obviously. The one playlist that I wanted to listen to had a spoiler in the description. So I think that's all I was gonna get with that spoiler. I think there's more left because I think what happened already happened with what I read. I'm being very vague right now because I can't say anything, but stuff has gone down. It's definitely got more interesting. Obviously I read it pretty quick, and it's a mix between it got interesting and entertaining, but also I really wanted to just finish the book, so I'm also speed reading for that reason. So I have both reasons, and I don't know which one I'm leaning more towards on why I've read so much, because I definitely really want to finish it, but it's also not like so amazing. I don't think I'm liking it as much as I expected to. I do again still love the fairy tale-esque and the Alice in Wonderland theme of this book like so much. I again love those kinds of fantasies, but I don't know, it's just not really what I expected too much. Beginning in the setup, like the first like 100, maybe even 150 pages was kind of slow, and I was just like, I don't even know where this is gonna go. Not even where I don't know where this is gonna go, or it's like I literally can't picture this picking up speed, but it did. I'm gonna go finish now or finish tonight. I will let you guys know my final rating on how I feel. I guess it just depends how the book ends. I heard the ending is very painful, but I'm just trying to like think of what could happen from here on out, and I have all these theories in my head, so we will see if I'm right, if it surprises me, and that's all. I will come back once I finish. I just wanted to update you guys that I did complete my goal of putting a dent in this book. I've gone pretty far, and it did definitely pick up, so those are all good things. I just really want to finish it, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll come back once I'm done. Come here. Come here. Hi. Welcome back. I finished the books that you picked out for me. Say I was just napping and you woke me up. So first book I read was yours truly. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I still am thinking about Jacob and this storyline, and I absolutely loved it. I feel like it's very different from other romance or even like rom-com type of books. It had deeper struggles in here, and it was very real, and I really liked this. I absolutely loved her writing. I loved the relationship. It was just the ending, I think I said, was a little drawn out of the miscommunication of what I typically like in books, but absolutely loved, and I would love to read more of her books. Great choice. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, her new release. I ended up giving 3 stars. Did you think I was gonna love this one? This one just fell flat for me. I feel like if you mixed Beach Read, Every Summer After, and November 9th into a book, you would get this book. Which is very interesting because when I was reading Every Summer After, I was like, if you put Love in Other Words and like Summer Turned Pretty together, you get that book. So it was very interesting that you get a mix of other books again in her book. But like I said, I just couldn't root for them. Whatever happened in the past, I didn't connect with them. So it made the present timeline a little bit harder to be happy that they're going to try to get back together and figure out what's happened, and trying to think of why Will didn't show up all those years later or that year later. I still think that don't let my opinion deter you. Like I said, just personally I didn't connect with them, but it wasn't bad. It just I couldn't connect to it. And then this morning I ended up finishing Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I'm between 3.5 and 4 stars, only because I liked the fairy tale. I loved the Alice in Wonderland vibe, and I like I said, fairy tale fantasies. Like this is just, it's so easy to get into if you're trying to get into romance fantasies or just fantasy in general. Marissa Meyer books are definitely the way to go. Like it's just so easy to understand and it's very fun to go along with. Personally, I just didn't really connect with it. I think it was fun. It felt very Alice in Wonderland, like all of the things that she included from, I'm assuming, the original or whatever Alice in Wonderlands, from the knowledge I know, was very, very fun to read and everything. I don't know. I think it's because one part got spoiled for me, so I was waiting for that to happen. And then the ending, I kind of just guessed that that's what was going to happen because you get the knowledge of, okay, it's like a villain origin story of why the Queen of Hearts is the way she is. And also having everyone, I think, tell me when I said I was going to read this that the ending broke them, that the ending was painful and everything like this. I kind of just assumed what was going to happen at the end, so I was just expecting everything and anticipating things to happen, so nothing really connected with me and I didn't really feel anything. But that's not to say that it wasn't entertaining and it wasn't fun to go along with. Like it was absolutely so much fun and I would recommend reading this. It just personally, again, didn't connect, which I was very upset about because I was really excited about this book. But things happen and I still think it was very fun and entertaining. I just didn't hit, I feel like, as it did for a lot of other people. That is the final wrap up of this video. Thank you to my best friend for being a part of it. You are such a good sport. I love you and we would love to have you back in another video. Right, guys? This was a really, really fun video to film. I just think that the concept of it was kind of fun. Just giving Mochi a chance to try some treats and pick the books for me was a fun idea. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if you want another video with Mochi. I don't even know what I could do. Comment down below how much you love Mochi so I can let her know that she is so loved. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you've read these books, your opinions on them. I'd love to know. And that's all from us. We will see you hopefully, or I will see you hopefully, in the next one. Right? Okay, bye. Bye.